I've tried to experiment here with the colors that you're seeing because the colors are really pretty, but it doesn't seem like it's coming through in the video. So I'm going to show you a quick picture that I took yesterday with it hanging on my wall just in natural light to see if that helps. And now we're going to keep going. So I waited longer than I expected. It's actually the next day from this last part because I wanted to try to also get some natural light in from our window. And here in Michigan it has been snowing for days, so there hasn't been much. But it's Saturday morning and there's nice light coming in, so I'm going to see if that helps with the lighting so you can see the real colors that are going on. Okay, typically I do not glue nearly as much as I'm gluing on this project. I always use a lot of glue for making these 3D indents. But because this is a really thin canvas going this direction, and because the glass goes all the way through the middle, I'm going to be tipping back and forth. I don't want to have the extra glass that I put around here in little lines fall or move too far because there's not very far for it to go. So I'm also going to just make a bead of glue from my glue gun and stick some stones in place. I won't even do all of it because if I do one layer and then put more next to it with my resin just against the sides, they still won't tip off the edge. So that's going to happen real fast. I'll speed it up so you can see it but not take too much time on it, and we'll keep going from there. Now that I have all of my stones on, I'm going to start mixing resin and we will get to pouring. I have to clean up all my space too because I have a serious mess. But I will be back with you in just a few minutes with everything ready to pour. Alcohol ink. So all of those are set and ready to go. I'm going to mix and start pouring. Just a couple other notes because this goes so fast. Right next to me I have a couple extra cups in case I do think of another color I want to do very quickly. I also have my blowtorch to get the bubbles out, and it's all really close for when I need to grab it. I also have my extra stones are right off to the side here because I am going to add more around these, but they need to be open and ready to go. And hopefully I remembered everything. Now, if you'll stay tuned for the second layer, after this is all done and dried, I will tell you more about how I do layer number 2 and how I finish things, but a lot of it has to do with nail polish. If you didn't know, you can definitely use nail polish along with resin, and I will talk through that step after this first layer is dry. So I'm going to mix the resin, and here we will go. Okay, everyone, I have got this resin going. My 15 minutes, I'm on the clock here. I'm just finishing up stirring. This one, the quick set is really thick, and so give your arms a workout if you stir it. But I'm going to add it to each of these cups. You'll notice I also put a stir stick with each color so I don't mix anything. And the one thing I forgot to mention with my colors is that I'm also going to leave some clear in this because I can either make more of a color with that if I need to, or I found some really cool white shiny sand when I bought the gold stones at Dollar General, and I was thinking it'd be cool to put a couple spots of those in this too, and all I need to do is put down clear and then pour that on top. So I'm gonna start small, and then if I need to mix more I can. One of my money saving tips is that don't ever mix too much. I do have things sitting around here that I will pour onto if I mix too much, but I would rather have to remix and add on than have to have a bunch of resin in a color I wasn't expecting and trying to figure out what to do with it so I don't waste it. So You're on the clock. Now, I do go ahead, because this resin will get harder and really hot faster if it's really thick. You don't want to do one color and then go and one color and then go. You really want to get through all of your colors quickly and at least put them in here so that you don't have as much volume in your cups, and that'll help you a little bit. All right. Oh gosh, these are going to look nice. I'm just going to stir each one a little bit real quick here. Now, I very typically end up having to do a whole second set, making more resin and stirring and everything, because I don't want to waste it. So that's probably what's going to happen, but that is not a problem. I need to add a little more of my gray. The other thing is, with the tape on here, that helps you save some too, because you don't lose a bunch of resin off of your sides. And just to give you a few more tips while I'm stirring, because there's not a lot for you to see and do while I'm stirring here. My space that I use, I've even figured out ways to save money on that. The desk that I am painting on right now was a find on Facebook Marketplace, and we got it for $30, knowing that it would be okay if I spilled on it and everything, so it's specifically for me to use for painting. And then I'm trying to think of some of the other little tips I have around here. All the cups I got at the dollar store, and I think it's like 16 cups for $1 or something like that, and all these little mini cups are the perfect size to pour with. So lots of different things like that can just help you out. And obviously you'll notice I used a lot of really inexpensive paints. Sometimes I do more expensive just because obviously you're going to get a nicer quality, but with the way I'm layering and things, I think it works out well too. And adding just a little bit of those Ranger alcohol inks, especially like the pearly kind, just to regular craft paint, really makes it stand out a little more. In fact, now that I'm telling you that, I might add that to a couple of these real quick. It just gives it almost like a mini version of that same effect you get when you use the powders. So as I'm doing this, I'm also thinking about where I'm going to put each of these colors. I think I'm going to start by pouring my copper color around these edges so that gold really stands out. But I got to get moving here because this is going to go quick. So as I'm mixing, I'm trying to look at the best place to pour each of these. I'm going to start pouring, but the other thing I was going to share with you is that I typically use a box. I have a pouring box that I made that everything can spill all over the place in, but I am in way over my head right now on a really big geode that I started working on, and I keep coming back to it and just doing like a little bit of it at a time. And it's a 3-foot by 4-foot canvas, and it is currently on top of my pouring box, and I didn't want to move it. So that's why I just, since I have my sides blocked anyway and I don't plan to go over the edges, I figured it wouldn't be too big of a deal to just actually do this with just wax paper underneath, because wax paper really helps you to not have it stick to anything. It peels right off the wax paper when it's done. Okay, so I'm already adding a little bit more clear, and now I'm doing gold into the cup that I was using for my bronze, because I didn't make enough of that one. I knew that was going to be a big one. So I'm just mixing a little more to do the other side of this. So we'll do that real quick, then I'll pour on the other side. Again, I anticipate that I will probably be mixing some more, but I would much rather have to remix than have to figure out to do with leftover resin that's not the color I'm needing for a different project. So, and then after these are gone, have gone down, obviously I'm going to start tipping and moving stuff around as quickly as I can. But now we'll pour, and then all those little stones, the white underneath, once we start tipping, then the resin will slide underneath all these stones and give us more of a solid look. And the other thing I do is when I'm finished with these paintings in terms of all the resin and where I think I'm about done, I still go back through and I actually paint a little bit by hand, which I can show you guys at the end when I talk about how I finish these. All right, so that is that. Now, let's go on. I actually want to put some of this white next to that. So I think those will mix well together, but I'm going to do a thinner line for this one because I want the white to be in another spot too. So I'm just going to go quickly. Close up for a second. For some reason, I'm having a little trouble with my camera and it cut out on me again, so I apologize that you missed a couple things. But I'm going to tell you what I did here while it was not running. I went through and I added the tiny sand that I have in white along here, and then the gold. And then I also looked, because I'm doing a second pour on layer 1, I looked for the spots that I liked the best and the spots that I liked the least. I definitely did not like the pink and the more maroon color together. In general, I feel like the pink's looking a little too much like Pepto-Bismol, so I'm going to make that lighter for the next one. But I just sprinkled some of my really fine gold stone in between those two, and I think that broke it up really nicely. Same thing over here. Pink, I just don't love. And it was next to the teal and it didn't look great, so I just sprinkled more of that all over. But what I'm going to do with this next layer is come back and I think cover this teal because they don't look nice together. However, I also looked around. The spots I love are right here, where my darker color and my white and my bronze all mixed together looks awesome. So I'm going to make sure those end up next to each other again in the next section. And then the same thing here with the white and the teal and the gray. I like how those mixed. So I'm going to do that again. And then I love how this clear, or not clear, white sand along with the gold crushed glass, the like really fine, how those look. So I think I'm going to actually do with clear like a giant swath of that goes all the way through here, like a big vein of crystal with that clear and the gold again. So just to keep you updated on what I've done so far, since I'm sorry you missed part of it, that's where I'm at. I'm going to reset to do my second pour, and I don't know if it was in the video or not because I told you guys a few things while I wasn't sure if it was running. What's nice about doing a second pour with this quick set is that even though it's one right after another, these have set enough that when I do new lines, if I want them to look more structured and not nearly as wavy, they're not going to mix with what's down here now by the time that I get through with what I'm doing. So anyway, it's looking pretty cool. I'm going to reset and we'll do the rest of the pour. Okay, everybody, I am back here. I have reset. I've put all my colors again. I've mixed my resin. I've poured them into each cup. This time, I did all of my same colors, but I mixed equal parts of the color and white and some of that white pearl alcohol ink just to give it all a little shimmer. What's really cool about this is if you pour once and then pour the second time, this gives you more depth even with just one layer because you're not adding extra colors. You're just adding lighter versions of the colors you already did. So it gives some depth to it even though we're not adding like a clear layer or anything yet. So I'm just finishing with mixing all of these up and we will start pouring again. Now I didn't add white to my bronze and gold mixture because I loved it last time, and I actually just made extra of it so that I could use it in more places because I thought it was so pretty. I wanted to highlight it a little more. So we will get pouring in a second here. Just finishing mixing these. Again, there were some spots I didn't like. I'm just going to pour over them. And other spots I really like that I will try to recreate in other areas. Now, what's already on here is so sticky at this point. It's not actually hard. Like if I touch it, my finger's going to mush it, but it's almost like a toothpaste consistency. So if I pour and then tip, the stuff that's already on there won't tip, which is nice because if I want solid lines next to each other, I just won't tip, but I think I'll probably end up mixing some of these. Okay, I'm going to go as quick as I can. I love this color, so I'm going to add more. So here's a close-up of some of what I've done. Turned off my light so I could have natural light. Now you'll notice you can see a little bit of the wood down here. That will be one of the final things I paint, just to make sure. I think it's only that close on that side, but we'll check. So here's what's going on with this right now. I love how some of these colors mush together. Lots of cool stuff going on here. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of the right color with the window open. See, I don't like that dark pink, but that's something we can still go back and fix. But here's where I'm at so far. I'm pretty excited about it. Not colors I would have chosen normally, so it's cool to do kind of a different thing. All right. I will catch you guys for part 3.